rapist stalks the streets of Santa Monica, the latest at 4.
You can't see the pain. It is like you're dying from inside out.
They had breast implants to feel more beautiful. Now they say their bodies are ticking time bombs.
The silicone had seeped down into my rib cage.
They found silicone in my uterus, my ovaries, and my liver.
Now they don't know who to blame. Dow Corning, the manufacturer.
The FDA has seen all of this information and has brought no charges or anything.
Their doctors.
She didn't know. No doctors told her what was going to happen to her.
Or themselves.
They tell you it's in your head. You begin to think you're crazy. And I've lost my mom. And I miss her.
Coming up next.
10 years come and gone so fast, I might as well been dreaming. Sunny days have burned to path across another season.
Today's show is a news story come to life. On one side, you have women furious because they believe they were not fully informed of the painful, disfiguring, and potentially life-threatening consequences of a breast implant operation. On the other side is Dow Corning, the manufacturer of breast implants, who today comes face-to-face with an angry public. In between is a divided medical community. Today, all three sides talk to each other. We begin with the story of John and Colleen Swanson, who have a very intimate connection to this news story. John and Colleen Swanson were an illusion walking down the street. They looked like a happy-go-lucky couple enjoying the autumn of their lives.
I always put on a good front. No matter where I went or what we had to do, I always put on a very good front. But I was really absolutely devastated inside.
That's because inside Colleen, what no one could see were a series of catastrophic health disasters she says were caused by these, Colleen's silicone breast implants.
Oprah, these are the implants, the Dow Corning implants that were extracted from my body. They are silicone implants. You can see the silicone is seeping all through this bag, and it's even, the silicone is even seeping through this this baggie. That doesn't even contain it. The silicone is a heavy consistency. It adheres to everything. It adheres to your fingers, the table, any instruments that the doctors use. And of course, this had ruptured in my body, and they had to clear down into my rib cage. And there's a suspect now of this silicone in my lymph nodes. I've got to go back to the doctors and have more tests done now, and if that's the case, then there'll be more surgery.
Colleen had her breasts implanted in 1974. The Swansons thought it was safe, and if anybody could assure her, it was John. He was an executive with Dow Corning, makers of silicone breast implants. John became one of Dow Corning's spokesmen on ethics, and his star was rising. But John had an ethical crisis on his own at home. His wife was very ill, and she was convinced she was sick because of her implants. At one point, Colleen had gone from a healthy 112 pounds down to 88 pounds. But by now, her health wasn't their only problem.
I had to get up every day and go to work at a company that made the product that was creating all of these problems for her. So we were in a constant state of stress and just totally being uptight.
There is no hard evidence linking breast implants to any diseases, so Dow Corning has always insisted their products are safe. But now, John, believing his wife was sick because of the product he had been helping to promote, began to think his company was doing the wrong thing. Well, the CEO of Dow Corning is with us today, responding to John for the first time ever on national television. But joining me now are Colleen and John Swanson, who are the subjects of a groundbreaking new book entitled Informed Consent. John, what did you decide to do?
I felt, looking at it after a year or two away from the company, that I really didn't know the company that I had worked for. This is a good company with good people. I think the whole business of this silicone breast implant trauma has changed the culture of the company and made it into a very defensive and strident organization. I don't think Dow Corning really knew what was at stake in the silicone breast implant controversy in 1991.
Meaning what? They didn't realize that
They thought it was going to go away.
Right.
They thought it was going to go away. There were a couple of cases, and sure, there were going to be major lawsuits. But in time, the science would prevail, and the issue would go away. In 1991, I think maybe when they woke up a little bit, I think that's when the company's ethics began to erode.
What evidence do you have to prove that it is indeed the breast implants that has caused all these problems, all of these health problems?
I have a doctor. I have medical documentation stating that. And also, Oprah, I might add that just very soon after I had the implants put in, the terrible migraine started, the numbness in my hands and fingers.
When did you start to first believe, Colleen, that it was indeed the breast implants? Early in 1974, after you first had them done?
No. Many years. In fact, because I had all these symptoms, but nobody could tell me what it was. I didn't have a clue that it could be the implants.
Really?
First of all...
So let's get this straight. The implants went in 1974.
Correct.
Headaches started when? The migraines?
Within a year.
Within a year.
But, Oprah, I had so many symptoms, and I always had an excuse for everything. Like the terrible rashes on the chest and in the armpits and down my side. I kept thinking I'm allergic to deodorants. I would change deodorants. Or I kept thinking it was the fabric softener or the detergents. I mean, I could make up excuses for everything.
What you showed us in that bag on the tape there, Colleen, that's the silicone as it had burst from its own bag?
That's the ruptured implant. The silicone had seeped down into my rib cage. They had to cure it down into the rib cage.
So there's silicone kind of seeping all down through your body.
True. The capsule did not hold it all in because my breasts were rock hard. But Oprah, even when my breasts were hard and I had like a hot burning pain in my breast and in my armpit, and I went to the doctor, well, let's just do another mammogram, right? The mammogram didn't show anything.
So the mammogram never showed the seeping silicone?
No, the mammograms do not show that.
Well, usually, you know, companies send written statements when they're asked to face their accusers on television. That's what we've experienced in the past 10 years. But today, the CEO of Dow Corning agreed to be here to face these charges. We'll hear their side when we return. We'll be right back.
Today on Eyewitness News, a brutal rapist stalks the streets of Santa Monica. At 4, the bizarre connection to the Simpson trial. Plus, the Baywatch bombshell star Pamela Anderson rushed to the hospital. What's wrong? Then at 5, the emotional reunion as a kidnapped girl is reunited with her family after her mother's alleged killer is caught. Nationwide support for the Goldman family as Kim Goldman speaks out. And at 6, LA County's lack of green means pink slips for hundreds of workers. On Eyewitness News at 4, 5, and 6, only on Channel 7.
Good morning. Rise and shine to a bright new day. Now there's a delicious way to get a healthy start to your day. Fat-free, ultra-slim fast breakfast bars bursting with flavor. They're scrumptious strawberry, juicy blueberry, delicious apple and fig, wrapped in a wholesome cereal crust. The only breakfast bar that's fat-free and has 13 vitamins and minerals. Ultra-slim fast, fat-free breakfast bars. A healthy way to start your day.
Bag. It's so hard to close. No, Morgan. Stay. No, Morgan. No. Stay. Oh.
There's the hard way. Or the hefty way. Hefty cinch sack bags. They take just one step, one hand to close and lift. The bag won't leak and the string won't break. Hefty bags. You choose the hard way or the hefty way.
I put 20 tomatoes in every jar.
When you taste Ragu Hearty,
Real sauteed mushrooms and onions.
you'll think it was made by a kitchen full of Italian grandmas.
Your family got to love the sauce.
Ragu Hearty. Taste what's gotten into Ragu.
Dry, frizzy hair. It's always been a problem to work with, even for professionals. Frizzies turns dry, frizzy hair into smooth, shiny hair quickly. Frizzies took years to develop, but it only takes minutes to work.
Colleen's husband, John, is a former executive of Dow Corning, the maker of the breast implants. Colleen says ruined her life. Joining us now is the chairman and CEO of Dow Corning, Richard Hazelton, and Stephanie Burns, who's Dow Corning's manager of women's health and FDA issues. They're not happy with the new book, of course, coming out about the Swansons, and they're not happy about John Swanson coming out against his old company. Particularly, I find it interesting, don't you, Mr. Hazelton, because he was sort of Mr. Ethics at the company.
Well, John was certainly very involved in our ethics process.
So you believe that a man who was so ethical then is now making up stories about you, or?
No, I don't believe that at all. I'm not here to question, first of all, that Colleen has had many problems with her health, and that caused a lot of conflict for John, as he's described. My concern is that I believe, in all sincerity, that John, because of what John and Colleen came to believe and the conflicts that caused, that's colored his judgment about Dow Corning's behavior and about the causation of the problems with the breast implants.
You don't believe the breast implants caused her to have all the myriad of medical problems that she's
No, I do not.
You do not.
And that is there is considerable solid science that Dr. Burns and I could talk about that show that. That doesn't mean that I don't respect the sincerity of John and Colleen's views, but I also think that it doesn't mean that I'm an evil villain because I believe sincerely the other way.
Yes. Do you believe you would be a healthy person had you not had the breast implants?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at all of my symptoms and then look at the symptoms that got better after explantation. Of course I'd be a healthy person. Would anybody be healthy with this sticky stuff sticking to their organs or to the parts of their body? Of course not.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's very clear, and it's been well known that silicone breast implants cause local complications, and that can include infection, it can include capsular formation around the implant, it can include hardening of the breast, and it can include rupture. And on very rare occasions, when rupture does occur outside of the capsule, the silicone gel can migrate. But the real question with breast implants and what has caused such a controversy is the autoimmune disease allegations. And there have been 18 or more U.S. and international studies which all come to the same conclusion, and that is that women with breast implants are no more likely to get these autoimmune diseases than women without breast implants.
What happens, though, Stephanie, when the silicone has left your breast, let's forget the hardening of the breast, and it's seeping through the rest of your body?
Let me explain. The gel can migrate if the rupture is outside the capsule, and what needs to be done is that the implant needs to be removed and the gel needs to be removed. And this has been well known and understood for years.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Stand up. Yes. Stand up. And what would you like to say?
You know, the reason why those problems are well known with implants is because the women have made them well known. We were not told about those problems before we had implants. They are not doing their job. They have not informed the women who have purchased their problem product, and we're sorry we did. I'm sorry, but I think that the public should be warned that these companies do not abide by the ethical standards that Mr. Swanson set up for them at all, and I think the public should be aware of this company.
What do you want to say? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have breast implants, but my mother does, and she had cancer twice, and they told her that they would be fine. And I always thought that my mom was like depressive or something like that for the past couple of years. And then I met all these people that have the same symptoms she has. She lays around, she does nothing. She's lost herself, she's lost her life, and I've lost my mom. And I can't see how you can sit there and just not be accountable for it because you're taking away other people's lives. I mean, it wasn't her choice in that sense. She didn't know. No doctors told her what was going to happen to her. No doctors told her that this is going to be you in a couple years. That was my mom, and I miss her.
I have to get to this woman here. Yes, ma'am.
How can we believe that these people don't understand that when I had my hysterectomy, yes, like Colleen, that they found silicone in my uterus, my ovaries, and my liver? I'm a cancer patient. I did not need to introduce an additional problem into my body. And yet, when I was simply asked to take the package insert, which, by the way, you know, does say that the possibility of autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, etc., is in your package insert. But that package insert is put inside the box which is opened inside the operating room, and so the doctor never reads it, and neither do the women. They're sound asleep by the time they get to see it.
We'll be back.
Stylists already know how great Tresemme is, but do you?
These are professional products. They give you salon beautiful hair, but without the salon price.
You are going to love Tresemme's one-of-a-kind remoisturizing conditioner with a special blend of almond oil, silk protein, and rich emollients.
Conditions your hair beautifully.
It gives it softness and shine.
You get salon in the bottle, but not in the price.
Professional, affordable, Tresemme.
So MCI's friends and family comes to me and says, we have really big news. I said, great, let me tell it. They said, well, we got something a little bigger in mind.
Friends and family. Wow, automatic savings, every call. Even bigger savings for one and all. Don't need names, don't need lists. Savings automatic, get the gist.
Look, the whole naming thing, you don't need it. You get friends and family, you get savings. Simple. Friends and family.
Hi, Doc.
Oh, hi, John. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Andy.
Go get him, Sarah.
Hey, Dr. Johnson.
See you later.
At Mulliken, these are the ways we like to see our patients. But we have 1,400 physicians and 41 centers throughout Los Angeles and Orange counties, just in case. Make a Mulliken doctor your health plan enrollment choice.
Keep up.
See you up there.
Fine, huh? Yeah. Hey, Mom.
Hi. Did you leave any dirt out there?
A little. Oh, yeah, what you got? Okay, listen up. We got some purple stuff, OJ, soda.
Sunny D, I'll take one.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Tastes like orange tangerine and lime.
Some healthy junk, too.
Pick up some Sunny D to go at Stater Brothers Markets.
All right.
Sunny Delight, the good stuff kids go for. From Stater Brothers Markets.
Siskel and Ebert are rating some of America's worst home videos.
How would you like to look at an hour of this stuff?
How will they rate mine?
I mean, they couldn't even figure out which end of the animals was photogenic.
Do your vacation videos make you a little seasick? Enroll in video school with us.
Touch the Zoom and you die.
How to get a thumbs up? Monday's Oprah. You said you wanted to respond to what she said?
Yes, if I may. I'm here for two purposes with Stephanie today. One is to try to speak to the issues of what women with breast implants, what their questions are and how we should do that. And I'd like to do that in a way that is based on science and facts and not solely driven by perhaps understandable anger from people who disagree with me. I'm also here because I'm proud.
Do you think perhaps understandable anger or really just... I mean, when you get right down to it, we're all just people here.
That's right.
And the fact that these women are angry because your company made a breast implant that they believe damaged their body, I think that that's understandably...
Yes, I'll take off perhaps and say that's understandable.
Okay.
All I'm suggesting is that I think that we ought to try to keep the discussion on a basis that gets beyond that anger, because that's what women really need to understand is facts and so forth. I'm also here to deal with the charges that, whether it's evil villains or something softer, John, that Dow Corning behaved unethically. I'm proud of my fellow employees and the ethical standards they uphold. And if we're going to have to go through all of these charges, which, by the way, have been, there's nothing new in the book except John's personal perspective on this. The Department of Justice has seen all of this information, the FDA has seen all of this information, and has brought no charges or anything. But if we're going to have to defend that again, then I need to represent those people. That fits inside my job description.
Could we just speak to each other, Mr. Hazelton, on woman to man here, just people, and forget that you were a CEO. Let's say that this was your wife or your daughter, and perhaps maybe your company, even though science says it couldn't happen, and because science is only as good as what we know today, because tomorrow or next year we may learn some new things about science. And perhaps let's just look at the possibility that what they are saying is true. And if there is the possibility that what they are saying is true, how would you then, as the CEO of the company that made these implants, feel, not about what the company policy is and what the science says and all that, but just how would you feel as one human being to the other human beings about the possibility that your company could have done that?
The possibility can never be absolutely ruled out in the sense of certainty. What I would say in that situation, if it was somebody that I knew, a family member who was considering
if this was your wife who'd been through this.
or my daughter.
Or your daughter, yes.
I would say that the decision to have breast implants or not is a very personal decision that they should take based in close consultation and understanding with their doctor of what the benefits of the product are, which are substantial, and there are many people who will testify to that.
And also to what the risks are.
And to what the risks and complications. The further thing I would say is that based on many, many years of research that we have done and that institutions have done, whose ethics, really, I don't think you can challenge the ethics of places like the Mayo Clinic, Harvard University, the University of Michigan. If I may, Stephanie, let me speak to the ethical issue and then let Dr. Burns, Stephanie, talk a bit about the science itself. Dr. Kessler, the commissioner of the FDA, testified before Congress less than 2 months ago, and his testimony was that the Mayo Clinic studies and the Harvard studies, which is the similar one, were quote-unquote good science, no problems with the validity of that, and that they provide reassurance that there is not a large increase, a large risk of women with breast implants having autoimmune diseases relative to women who don't have breast implants. That's not Dick Hazelton, that's not Dow Corning, that's the commissioner of the FDA, who, for those of you that are familiar with the situation, has not been our biggest ally through this whole process.
And the commissioner also says, Sybil, just one
Also didn't allow the product back on the market, she said.
Allow the product back on the market.
And he also says the manufacturers have not yet proven these devices are safe.
We'll be right back. Hey, single women of LA, you want to be fixed up on a special date with a young, tall, African-American man? If so, he wants you to fit this description. Be between 22 and 26. You like dark comedy, whatever that is. You have a wide variety of musical tastes, from R&B to hard rock. You're into rollerblading and independent films. You have to be from the East Coast or Midwest and have natural beauty. Wear jeans, sweatshirts. If this is you, call 1-800-223-4023.
Dr. Thomas Sweet graduated from Stanford and earned his medical degree from the University of Minnesota. He spent years treating patients, dedicating his life to one thing: fighting cancer, so that architects can keep building, teachers can keep teaching, and pilots can keep flying. Kaiser Permanente, more people turn to us for good health.
We've asked these women to try out this new facial tissue to see which one is softer.
I don't feel the difference. They both feel soft. They're the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're the same.
Not quite. This really is a facial tissue, but this is Charmin Ultra.
A bathroom tissue? Really? Wow.
You're kidding. It really feels as soft as a facial tissue.
Yeah, definitely.
Only Charmin Ultra feels as soft as facial tissue. We guarantee it, or your money back. Call 1-800-4SOFTER for details.
I'm a night owl. I come alive when the sun goes down.
In the morning out here, it's just, everything is so peaceful.
Hey, life is a roller coaster.
You know, you can breathe here.
I love this city.
It's an open house. I have no secrets.
You have to have a sanctuary. This is all mine.
Sisters may be different, but from a simple ottoman to the Country Crossings collection, everyone's at home with Ethan Allen. Come in and see what's on sale.
It's all under your nose.
You work hard, play hard, aim high.
Now, for Southern California residents only, bigger, bolder adventures at Disneyland are rolled back to just $24. Experience the thrills of the Indiana Jones adventure, plus all the legendary magic of Disneyland for one low price. So bring your friends, Southern California. This offer will blow you away. It's only $24. Come have a ball at Disneyland before it's too late.
Dr. James Baker is the president of the American Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, and he's performed more than 4,000 breast implantations on women, one on Colleen Swanson 21 years ago. Was that an informed consent?
You know, Oprah, in 1974, we did not have VCRs, we did not have CDs, we did not have personal computers.
At that point in time, that was the most informed consent that could have been used. In the first paragraph, that consent stated that these implants have only been used for several years and that the final results cannot and will not be known for years. And so consequently, we tried to inform our patients. I only entered practice in 1971, so we're talking 1974. And that point in time, consents were not standardly utilized by physicians. You went in, you went to your doctor, he said, you need an operation. They went and operated on you. The hospital would say, you're going to have an operation. We got into informed consents with aesthetic surgery. And so these were developed over the years, and they were constantly changed as we went phase by phase.
But you obviously believe they were okay. You obviously believe they were okay, because I understand you gave your daughter implants.
12 years ago.
12 years ago.
Correct.
And so now when you hear that perhaps for a lot of women they are not okay.
Not for a lot of women, Oprah. If you estimate that 1.5 million women have had this procedure, and the vast majority of them, they're extremely happy. They've had excellent results. They've had a positive effect on their life.
Sharon, you're one of those
people?
people?
Then you take a small group, and the cancer reconstruction patients. Then you have a small group of patients that have not had good results, that have not been pleased. You're going to have that with any sort of implantable device, whether it be a brain shunt, they fail. Whether it has a heart valve, they fail. When failure occurs, death occurs.
So are you saying that it's part of what Hazelton is saying? Mr. Hazelton is saying that it's part of the risk you take?
I think that we have to look at the science. I mean, if we go back to the basics, and that's what the physicians have tried to do throughout this crisis. It's a very emotionally charged situation. I mean, that's obvious. Women are suffering. Women do have disease entities. But the question is, did the implant, does silicone cause the disease? Because then, if silicone causes the disease, then all of us should be affected. You know, from the time we're born, we get
Maybe
silicone.
it only causes the disease in some women who are prone for it to cause the disease.
And then that's a small group of women, and that has to be looked into. There's ongoing, right now there are 100 research projects.
There's 440,000 in the settlement. We are the evidence. Yes.
Well,
Oprah,
if I can address
that. Stating cockroaches died because of Dow Chemical's study in 1954. Why is it good enough to kill cockroaches, and why should we have it implanted in our bodies to affect our children? The study is we sitting here. The study is the 440,000 women who have claims in the settlement. That's a study. We can't buy science like you people can.
Dr. Baker, go ahead.
Oprah, the 440,000 women that are in that claim in the global settlement are not there because they have disease. None of my
documented by different physicians all over the country. It's time for you all to stop this cover-up. It's time for you, as plastic surgeons and corporations, to make this accountable. We shouldn't have to rely on the Social Security system. We have recalls for seatbelts. We have recalls for cigarettes. Where is our recall for this defective product? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Dr. Baker?
Let me address that global settlement, the 440,000 women that went in there. A lot of my patients went in there because I encouraged every single patient that I ever implanted to enter that global settlement. That gave them a 30-year free guarantee in case down the road there is a problem, that they do develop a very debilitating disease that may not have anything to do with the implant.
Well, I don't understand, though, when you say...
But they are not sick, and they are not claimants in there. They entered because the advice of the physician was that why don't you enter this thing? It's available to you, and I felt that they should go into it.
Sharon, you wanted to say what?
I wanted to get back to the issue of choice. I think we all have to take a personal responsibility for the decisions we make, no matter if it's a new medication or a medical device.
Let her finish, and then you can speak.
It is our responsibility to find out as much as we can about it and make the choice based on what we know today. I mean, that's what's all free about this country. And
I know, but in 1974, we didn't know enough. Would you agree?
Perhaps we didn't, but we did know how long those products were on the market. And again, it was chancy, and people needed to make that personal choice.
I wasn't told it was chancy.
What do you say? What did you say, ma'am? What did you say?
No one gave me that choice when I had a mastectomy. They told me it was going to be perfect. I was going to be dead, and those boobs are going to be standing straight up. 5 implants later, they were ruptured. Now, you tell me that I don't hurt? Walk in my shoes. You want to study? Study me.
Oprah?
Study the women that hurt, nobody else.
Oprah, can I break into this?
Unfortunate that most women didn't feel they were informed. But we run a national hotline. I'm with the Wyoming National Breast Cancer Organization, and it's amazing to me, even today, the number of women who call us and want someone to make the choices for them, that don't ask the questions, that don't want to hear. They want to be able to just go in and say, take care of me. And hey, that's their choice too. If that's the way they want to handle their own personal health and health care issues, that's fine. But what we do is we educate women constantly. We've educated in our organization from the very beginning that these devices aren't perfect. But they're what we have today, and it's up to you to sort it out, to go to a doctor. Another thing,
so
many women...
if they're not perfect, Sharon, this is a question I'm posing here. If they're not perfect, and you know that there's some risk, and you put them in your body, and they rupture and seep down through your ribs, is that okay?
I think what you need to do when you make that choice is to continue to remain vigilant. Many women left the doctor and for years never went back to have their implants checked. That's a mistake.
Oprah?
We will be right back.
Know what happens when you keep drinking the same thing, the same thing, the same thing? Your tongue gets kind of bored. That's why Welch has made White Grape Classics. White Grape Raspberry, White Grape Peach, and White Grape Cranberry. Now, you might have had peaches and raspberries and cranberries before, but you never had them mixed with Welch's White Grape Juice. Welch's White Grape Classics. Your tongue will not get bored.
More Balmex. Do you guys know something I don't?
Yes. Balmex really clears up diaper rash. And Balmex wipes off easily without irritating baby's skin.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Balmex clears up diaper rash, wipes off easily.
This bag is so hard to close. Stay. No, stay.
There's the hard way or the hefty way. Hefty cinch sack bags. They take just one hand to close and lift. You choose the hard way or the hefty way.
C&R has the best brands at the best prices. Save up to 60% every day. C&R, the best brands, the best prices. And now at C&R, a special purchase. French designer dress shirts, 2 for only $36. Better hurry.
New Bounty Medleys introduce the most colorful country prints in the country. They're the quilted quicker pretty upper because they're a world of color, prettier, cozier than ever before.
The quilted quicker pretty upper.
All new Bounty Medleys.
Baywatch bombshell Pam Anderson hospitalized, the latest at 4.
Just say what? Yes, ma'am?
I live here in Illinois, and I had implants put in 1990. Always a very healthy woman, never a problem. 4 months after, a series of problems started. Within 2 years, I went to every doctor you can imagine. Women, you have to listen. Please. They tell you it's in your head. You begin to think you're crazy. It's very real. It's not an open wound, so you can't see the pain. It is like you're dying from inside out. I've been there. I got them out, and I got better. And I see these women. I've been involved with this group for 3 years, 4 or 5, and I will not stop. You may have the money, but we've got the voices. Live up to your responsibility. These are mothers. We have families to raise. We have to travel out of state to get help. The doctors think you're crazy. You walk in the office, we don't know what's wrong. You go home. If it wasn't for my family, I don't know where I'd be. We refinanced our home. My insurance wouldn't help. I left my children, my 3 young children, for 2 weeks. I got them out, and I dramatically, 70% of the symptoms go away when they're removed. How can you say this is not cause and effect? How can you sit up there? How can you sleep at night? I just don't understand. You're a human being. You're a mother. Nobody wants to be sick. It's not the money. It comes from the heart. Please listen to what we're saying. I'm young. I've been there. Listen to what we're saying. There are, to this day, 72 deaths and 91,000 injured women. And we are too busy fighting this political battle to get the research to help these women. We don't want to be here. We want to be home with our families and taking care of our children. Stop the lies.
Be responsible for what you've done. You've got the studies. You know the truth. We don't want to be here. I'd rather be home with my children. But I will never stop talking. I know the truth. I've been there. I know how these women feel. I am one of the lucky ones, and I will talk till I'm dead about this until something changes.
These are FDA statistics. These are FDA statistics.
What statistics? Yeah, I understand from the FDA, but what? The 92... And the 92 deaths?
Yes.
I can't let this go without correcting the record, because, again, I think it's an example of where the anger gets away from us. The statistic that's been quoted, and the implication is that 92 women have died from breast implants.
72.
72. 72, 92, whatever. Ma'am, can I have...
20 liars, Nick. 20 liars.
You don't care?
Why
Oprah, can I answer?
I'm going to let you answer.
Okay.
But this was a very impassioned woman here. All the women are. But when this young blonde stood up and talked about all of these women are here not because they want to pick on Dow. I think she said it more eloquently than certainly I could reinterpret for her. They would rather be home with their children.
Absolutely.
So what is your response to what she said?
Well, my response to what she said about that is that I wish she could be home with her children, too. And I'm sorry that she's ill. And if there was something I could do to make her not be ill, I would do that. But if I can...
the implants out, I got better, sir.
Yes. That's not always
Terrific.
Okay, let him finish. Please let him finish. Let him finish.
There really is an important point that I want to make here.
I want you to make it.
About the tenor of this debate. 72 deaths. What that statistic means, what the FDA registry says, the only thing it says is that 72 women who had breast implants have died. It doesn't say anything about what caused their death, whether it was an automobile accident, natural causes, or whatever. That is the facts, ma'am, and you can ask the FDA about that. Now, my point is that to interject that kind of a statistic, which has no meaning to the issue, into the debate, I think does more to inflame it than to lead to a rational conclusion of where we ought to go.
Okay, yes.
I'd like to say, I still have my implants. They're 20 years old now. And they're the original implants. But I had a myriad of problems, including a premature hysterectomy covered with granuloma, part of a lung, granuloma, now something in my kidney. There's a lump on the back of my neck and one on my side. Dow, do this for me. Take them out, but do it on film to show the world what it is that you're taking out of my body. Give the film to this lady right here. I can't get them out because my insurance company won't pay for it. I can't afford it. The first doctor that I'm going to see try to help me get them out is Dr. Britta Shrib in Houston on the 29th of November, but I'd much rather that you did it on film.
Her story is typical. These women can't afford to get their implants out, but you claim bankruptcy and you hide behind Chapter 11, and I've got women that are dying and they can't get their implants out. That is not fair, Mr. Hazelton.
See the photographs of what you take out of these women?
The bankruptcy process, unfortunately, is the only way, because of the overwhelming amount of litigation created by all of this, that we had any hope at the time we filed for bankruptcy of treating all women fairly.
Yes, ma'am.
I was diagnosed 6 years ago with breast cancer. I was facing two very devastating issues, equally devastating issues. One was, am I going to live? The other one, I'm going to lose a part of my body. When I was told that I could replace that part of my body, it made all the difference in the world to me. I was able to face the disease and make the choices that I needed to make in order to make myself healthy again. I think that I'm a volunteer for Wyoming National Breast Cancer. We talk to women all the time whose lives have been enriched by the fact that they have been able to replace a part of their body that they've lost. There are also thousands of women across this country today who are facing breast cancer and facing the loss of a breast who have no choice. That choice, that freedom of choice has been taken away. And I'm one of the people you were speaking about. I'm very angry that someone has made a choice, taken my choice away if I should need to have another breast implant.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Lucky made saving money as easy as finding pocket change with the 77-cent event, where 77 cents goes a long way. You can pick up Coca-Cola or Pepsi, 77 cents. Whole boneless beef brisket, 77 cents a pound. You won't have to dig deep to find low prices like fresh ground beef, 77 cents a pound. And mushrooms also just 77 cents. You'll find handfuls of savings like red bell peppers, 77 cents a pound. The 77-cent event at Lucky is like money in your pocket.
Mr. Generous Coco's chef here has created something new for dinner. Calls it his three-course dinner. He gives you a choice of 6 of our most popular entrees like teriyaki chicken or fresh red snapper, plus hot super salad, and your choice of 4 delicious appetizers or 6 tempting desserts. Then he says to sell it all for just $7.99. To which I say, good idea.
New three-course dinners, just $7.99 at Coco's.
Very good idea.
Know what happens when you keep drinking the same thing, the same thing, the same thing? Your tongue gets kind of bored. That's why Welch has made white grape classics. White grape raspberry, white grape peach, and white grape cranberry. Now, you might have had peaches and raspberries and cranberries before, but you never had them mixed with Welch's white grape juice. Welch's white grape classics. Your tongue will not get bored.
It's a boy.
Oh, my God, look how beautiful, my baby.
There's a problem. You have to get this baby to intensive care right away.
What?
She's having a little trouble breathing.
I want the
If you're pregnant, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs. Your baby is counting on you. See a doctor now for prenatal care. The state of California can help.
Chinese cooking is a gift passed down through the generations. Now that gift is yours with Libby's Asian Favorites dinner kits. Everything you need to turn your fresh meat and vegetables into an authentic Asian meal. Libby's Asian Favorites.
Yes, I'm a physician who trained at the Mayo Clinic, and I just wanted to emphasize that the study that was done at the Mayo Clinic was a very well-designed study. It was totally objective. It was not supported by Dow Corning or any other pharmaceutical company. And it looked at large numbers of patients with and without breast implants. There was no increased incidence of autoimmune disorders in the patients who had breast implants. And what I do empathize with these women, but they're looking for a cause for this problem, and I think that's part of what's wrong with our society today is there's a lot of people who are looking for somebody to blame. And I think this is a good example.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll tell you, I think as a woman and a mother, I think I'm appalled by the statement that you just made, and especially being a sick woman. And Mr. Hazelton, I do not believe that buyer beware is acceptable practice in the United States that we live in. When I had my implant when I was 18 years old, nobody told me it would migrate to my liver and to my spleen and to my lymph system, that this would rupture, that it would go into my brain, that it could be placental, that I could get systemic diseases. And the problem is denial. We can deny this all we want, but the problem is where do we go from this point? We are sick. We do not want to be sick. We need help.
No,
you know,
not.
it's, I mean, how can we find a cure for a disease when they will not even admit that it is a disease?
You go into bankruptcy so that the tax-paying public will pay for your disaster. You made 10% more in gross income this year. It was testified to last week in Bay City in the bankruptcy court. Your actuary said 10% more gross income. You can afford to take care of these women. Otherwise, they're going to go to county hospitals, they're going to go on Social Security disability, so will their children, and that's because Dow Corning is not willing to pick up the ball for a problem that they caused.
Yes. This one has to speak. Go ahead.
I'm not taking sides with either side because I don't have all of the information from either side, but it sounds like the woman here with the mastectomy, what happened with the first implant? Why were there 5 implants?
They keep telling you that they're fine.
What I'm saying is, if
why
the
did I
first
go
one
back?
ruptured, why did you go back
Because
again?
he said it's okay, and I said, well, what about this? You just
Stand up. You believed.
I believed and trusted in the doctor. He's going to make me better. 1 year, I'm going to be a woman.
If it's not right the first time or the second time, I'm not going back.
Okay, shame on me. I went back. Shame on me.
And now it sounds as if you want him to support your choice for the rest of your life.
I was told that these were going to hurt me. where I couldn't walk, where I couldn't stand to do dishes and that, I wouldn't have done it.
But if there was 4 in a row that were already defective in you, wasn't it an idea to you that why am I going to go for the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th?
You something else. You have to.
You're an intelligent woman.
That's right, I am.
So why did you get to the 5th
one time in
point?
my life, I listened to doctors, and I will not do it again.
How long had they been doing implants?
Before I got them?
When you got them?
I got them in '88. They knew it in '88. Why didn't they tell me? I never was given the implant, the instruction inside to tell me that they were going to rupture. Never told me that.
You did not have a choice?
He told me the only way that they would rupture is if I had a blow to my chest, and then they would rupture.
There was a comment over there I missed. What was the comment? The question was, if 4 in a row ruptured in one woman, what is the problem with Dow Corning? Yes, ma'am, you wanted to say?
These women today have the luxury of knowing that all of us have come forward with our problems because we're not holding back. Women were told, go home, it's a figment of your imagination. They were never given the information needed to make an informed decision. And it's very lucky for you that we've come forward, because now you will have the information that we demanded come forward.
What do you say?
I'm concerned about how much you're looping into just the breast implant. I was speaking with a woman before the show who reeked of cigarette smoke and then proceeded to tell me how these have affected her and she can't breathe walking up the stairs. And I wanted to say, well, what do you think the cigarettes are doing to your lungs? Not to discount some of the symptoms that you're having, but I'm concerned that perhaps we are incorporating more things that are happening here than just what the
implant.
Yeah, yeah.
It's on the package of cigarettes that if you smoke, you're in for cancer. They didn't tell us that. There was nothing.
That's simply inaccurate, Oprah. And we don't have time today, I presume, to go through the whole litany and history of what our package inserts said, what our disclosures to doctors, what the consent...
But the point that the women have made is that they never saw the package inserts. They're knocked out cold by the time
There was none, Oprah, until 1985. And the only reason there was one is that a 1984 trial, the Maria Stern trial, scared Dow Corning into making an implant package insert.
But the point these women have made
Nothing
over
was
and
there
over is that
before.
they never saw the warning and nobody told them.
Well...
Okay, what is your point? What is your point? They're doctors?
Yeah, I'm sure that their doctors read the packaging when they open up the product. And if they're saying that there might be some risk in some women, then those doctors should pass that information along to their patients. Like anything else we do in our society, if you drink a Diet Coke,
But the point that the woman made earlier is that time and time again she trusted her doctor. I think that women in particular, men also, are a little different today than they were maybe in 1988 in terms of asking questions of your doctor and not looking at the doctor as though the doctor were the voice of God.
And we all know more about that today than we did before. My only point, again, we don't have time to go through...
But because we didn't know, does that mean now they have to suffer?
Well, they are suffering from diseases. There still is a very big issue that I think the science has come down conclusively on the reassuring side that says their diseases are not caused by their implants.
What about the point, which I thought... Let me make this point. Okay. What about the point that they are the studies? Nobody studied them. I thought that was a pretty doggone valid point. What about that? Dr. Burns?
The Mayo study studied records, not people.
Yes,
Not
well, people are records, too. People are records.
That's a corporate response.
Okay, yes, Colleen, you wish to speak? Yes.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to speak because my husband took me to the person at Dow Corning, Cy Braley, who was supposed to have more knowledge than anybody else on these implants. And he told me that they were safe, they would last a lifetime. And at that time, Cy knew that the dogs had already died from the implants. He already knew about these other cases that had been tried, and Dow Corning would not allow this information to be out. And what about all the information you have in Cincinnati that you're not letting these people say? What about the autopsies performed on these women that have silicone in the brain? And also, I talked to a woman a few months ago who had a double mastectomy, and she says, I've got a ticking time bomb in me. I've got Dow Corning implants in me. She says, and I am so sick, and they tell me my immune system is a mess, and she says, I don't know what to do. Are they the problem or are they not? This woman is now dead. I mean, And this lady who said she's had them for 6 years, your problems are going to start probably in 6 or 7, 8 years. You're going to probably be very, very sick. You don't have to have breasts to live. There's all kinds of alternatives
excuse me.
out there.
Excuse me.
I don't even want to hear from you.
Go ahead, You've never been faced with breast cancer, and I hope you never are. And I hope you're never faced with losing a part of your body.
I have lost a part of my body.
I think what we're missing here.
I've had 6
She
surgeries.
has no breasts.
I have no breasts. I have lost a lot of parts of my body. Now they're suspecting it
Okay,
in my lymph
this
nodes.
is the issue that I think we're
now
missing.
I have to have maybe my lymph nodes removed.
This is your choice.
Yeah.
But
I didn't have a
my
choice.
choice has been taken away.
I did not have an informed consent.
She would
That's
not be
why
sitting
I'm
here
mad.
if she had had
Over.
Yes,
My
ma'am,
choice
lady in
has been
red?
taken
Yes.
away, and that's
Thank you.
That's the point you've made.
That's the point I'm making. Who are they to take my choice away?
Excuse
Okay.
me.
It should be my choice. I will make an informed decision, and we don't know. There's no scientific evidence to substantiate.
Girl.
She said she... What? Say it again, please.
I don't want your help in that regard. Thank you.
The scientific evidence is being paid by experts.
Yes, ma'am, in red.
Problem with this is not that I'm unsympathetic to the Swansons or to these women here or to the 2% of all women who have had these implants that they are suffering. But my problem in this understanding is, was this product not FDA approved? And 2, this is elective surgery. This is your choice to have.
I have to take a break. When we come back, we'll meet John Byrne. He wrote Informed Consent. We'll be right back.
Introducing Ragu Pasta Toss Sauce.
This is the sauce so you toss.
We start with chunks of ripe tomatoes, garlic, and basil.
Easy, Maria, easy.
Then we add pure imported olive oil so that when you toss it, the flavor clings to every forkful.
Slowly, Maria. Not too much a toss. That's a some taste.
That's a summer toss.
New Ragu Pasta Toss. Taste what's gotten into Ragu.
I'll call you before you call me. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, sure.
Sir, you got me a part.
Oh, yeah, I got your part.
Is it good?
Is it good? I got you the lead.
Oh, where's the script?
This is my favorite sweetener. Huh? You like that?
Can't say that.
Well, why can't you what?
I only use sweet and low.
Yeah, well, that's why they call it acting.
Nobody's that good.
Would you wait?
Sweet and low. For millions of people, there's just no equal.
Cheryl, you ready to make a comeback? Huh? Something just opened up for you.
A rapist claims reaction to the O.J. Simpson verdict is making him angry. I'm Christine Lund.
I'm Steve Wolford. Coming up at 4, police are searching the Santa Monica area for a rapist who is blaming his rage on reaction to the verdict.
A fast-moving brush fire destroys several homes up in the Bay Area, and another one is raging right here in the Southland.
It's time to pick out a pumpkin, but it may not be easy this year. We'll tell you why.
Plus, a Baywatch star is rushed to the hospital.
And dieting could affect your memory. Those stories and more coming up on Eyewitness News at 4.
You know, Halloween's coming up, and while you're getting ready for Halloween, you can get a real jump on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is spend $300 at Vaughn's before the end of October, and you'll earn a free Thanksgiving turkey.
Selected varieties of Kellogg's cereals are 2 for just $6, Vaughn's Club 2 for $5, and save up to $3.76 on selected items with Vaughn's value coupons.
Just swipe your Vaughn's Club card every time you shop, and when you hit $300, we'll send you a certificate. Good for that turkey.
Did you know that there are a lot of people who don't go to the dentist on a regular basis? And of course, we know you're not one of them. You go to the dentist every 6 months. Because you know that if you put it off, it'll only bring you expensive, painful problems down the line. That's why 1-800-DENTIST is here, so that those of you who know the importance of regular dental visits can get wonderful dental care. Don't you feel sorry for those people who aren't as smart as you? Call 1-800-DENTIST for a pre-screened dentist or specialist in your area.
So we have the author here of Informed Consent, the book about Dow Corning and the Swansons, John Byrne. John, what did you want to say?
Well, you know, I've been a business journalist for 20 years, and I've made my life's work the study of management and how companies react to different crises and situations. And after looking at dozens and dozens of memos and internal documents, I have to say that throughout this crisis, there were numerous red flags that were raised, and the company failed to react promptly and adequately to many of these red flags. Regardless of what they're saying about the science today, where was the science throughout the 30-year period where this product was on the market.
I have to get to this woman here. Yes, ma'am.
There is a surgery called the flap operation, whether it's a free flap or an abdominal flap. Many surgeons in this country have not gone back to get the training to do that operation, but it is available to almost every breast cancer patient. They are just not being told about it.
Can I respond to that,
Yeah. Are we out of time? We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer. The Money Store has built its business by helping homeowners reestablish their credit. For over 25 years, they've specialized in helping people who are behind on their mortgage, credit cards, and other loans to establish a new budget with one loan, one payment. So if you have credit problems and own a home, call the Money Store. You can refinance your mortgage and end up with a sensible budget that works for you. Call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES. The Money Store, where America goes for money.
Hi, Doc. Oh, hi, John. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Andy.
Go get him, Sarah.
Hey, Dr. Johnson.
See you later.
At Mulliken, these are the ways we like to see our patients. But we have 1,400 physicians and 41 centers throughout Los Angeles and Orange counties, just in case. Make a Mulliken doctor your health plan enrollment choice.
From Barbara Taylor Bradford comes a new love story for a new age. Love in Another Town. Barbara Taylor Bradford's passionate new bestseller, Love in Another Town. It's never too late to make a new beginning.
Look, Mom, I drew a giant's foot.
You sure did.
Magnadoodle lets your child draw and erase like magic.
And this says, I love you, Mom.
Aw.
Magnadoodle.
So soft, you love it. You know down it does it. So soft on your skin. Just come on in.
Feel the softness, even when you line dry. Mid-price brands can leave clothes stiffer. Only Downy gives the most fluffy softness.
So soft, you love it. Only Downy does it. Come on into Downy.
Get the Downy dispenser. Toss it into the start and never miss the rinse cycle.
A brutal rapist stalks the streets of Santa Monica, the latest at 4.
It's brave of you to come here. You're the first CEO in 10 years. So we appreciate your response. And we're going to end the show. Yes?
Well, thanks, but I'm not brave. I'm just here to tell the story of what I think our people have done. Let me bring it back to, if I can, to where we started the show, the ethical dilemmas, choices between good choices. What we at Dow Corning have been faced with for the last many years is the fact that in good faith we are sensitive to women who are ill and to their concerns and their sincerely held beliefs about our product, and yes, to their anger. At the same time, we believe, based on sound science, in our products. I don't think there's any ethical conflict between those two positions. It gets very difficult to try to communicate and deal with that, particularly in an atmosphere where the debate is driven by fear and anger. If we've made mistakes over the past... Excuse me, can I finish, please?
Yeah.
If we've made mistakes over the past years, I think that they're in the grounds of not maybe having the skills to be able to express those two positions, which I don't think are ethically or morally inconsistent. And we haven't always done that perfectly. And sometimes I come on sounding like I'm attacking John or mad at the women and not sensitive to them because I'm trying to defend my people and our product. Other times I get accused by others of, why are you being such a wimp about this? The science is on your side. Why don't you go out and stand up for it? That's a very difficult balancing act. We've tried to do the best we can with it, but I don't think it says anything about the ethics and the morals of my company and our people.
Yes, John? Yeah.
The very simple ethical issue here turns on what David Kessler at the FDA did in late 1990-91. He said it is the responsibility of the manufacturers to prove that devices are safe. It is not the responsibility of others, the medical community, other people, to prove that they're not safe. This has been the ethical dilemma,
We
I
are
believe.
completely out of time. Thank you for being here today. Completely out of time. rest of the Oprah Winfrey Show, stay at the all...